Okay, we're going to use the double bucket method now to analyze a college savings plan. When you go to the website, just simply click on the variable annuity calculator. For the age range here, typically this is related to retirement, so we're going to change this a little bit. We're actually going to put the current age as age 0. Let's just say you just had your first child and you want to see how much you need to save for college. The retirement age, we're going to put in 18. That would be the starting year of college, and the termination age, 22. The double bucket does a very nice job of estimating return on investment over a fixed time frame, so it really fits college savings pretty nicely. For our asset mixes, we're just going to accept the defaults and compute the annuity table. If we look at the annuity table now, the DBIF determines how much you can withdraw, and during the first 18 years you're contributing, so you're not withdrawing anything. And then the last 4 years you start pulling out, and these numbers kind of make sense. You would pull out about 25% the first year, and then of the remaining balance about 33%, and then half, and then the entire thing to drain the entire sum down to 0. Now what we want to do is look at this over time, and we're going to say that you have $40,000 in savings that you're going to dedicate for college savings, and you're going to analyze this over time. Now it will take a few seconds for this data to generate, but what we're going to do is look at all prior 22-year spans starting in 1972 to see how it performed. So now we can look at the performance now starting in 1973 through 1993. Notice that you're not withdrawing anything for the first 18 years. You're only withdrawing in the last 4 years. This ending balance will show how your $40,000 did over time. And you can see during this span it did pretty well because the stock market did pretty well then. Then when you start drawing money out, it will always drain down to 0 at the end. And that's really what you want when you're saving for college. Now, one thing you need to get a handle on is how much will college cost in the future. If today's costs are $20,000 and you think college costs are going up at the rate of normal inflation, then we're just looking for $20,000 here in the inflation adjusted column. And we can see here we did a little bit better. However, if you think college costs are going to go up a little bit higher than the CPI, then you may need to come up with a little bit of a higher number here. One way or another, though, you need to get a handle on that yourself. The double bucket will show you in inflation adjusted terms. Okay, so now what you can do is you can kind of go through this data to see how it did in other spans. We're going to just search for the word double so that we can see these other spans, and we go down a few. Now we're in 1977. We go down here and we actually had 25,000, so it did even better. So let's just kind of focus on that part of the screen down here, and you can see that we're in the $20,000 range or more. So it seems like using the double bucket method, $40,000 would have been a sufficient principal. However, most people don't start with money for college savings. They're lucky to have, much savings at all at that point in time. So we're going to put 0 in for our current savings now. And now we're going to say, well, what if I contribute $100 a month or $1,200 a year? What is that going to look like? So now we're computing the historical analysis there. And one thing we're going to do is we're going to increase that $100 a month by the rate of inflation. That way it's a little bit more palatable at the beginning, where you only start with $100 as long as you remember to increase that in subsequent years. Okay, so again here in 1972 we start contributing $1,200. It goes up a little bit each year depending on inflation, and then this shows you the total amount that you've saved. Now when we go into the college years, you can see that we only have $8,600 per year. So we're only about 40% there. So that probably means you need to increase this by maybe 2.5 times, maybe $250 a month would be appropriate. But I'll go ahead and let you do those experiments and do some other historical analysis to see how that works out. Another thing you might want to do is, what if you want to fund graduate school as well? So let's put a termination age of 25 and now do the annuity table. And now the annuity table stretches out a little bit. I'll until age 25, and you start withdrawing over the 7-year span. And with the double bucket method, we'll go ahead and do that historical analysis as well. With the double bucket method, you will always drain down to zero at the end, which is exactly what you would like to see with a college savings program. Okay, so now we have that data, and you can see here that for a 7-year program, we only have about $5,000 a year to spend if we're contributing $1,200 a year. And then, as we saw before, it goes down to zero at the end of that span. Okay, so that's how you'd use the double bucket method to set up a college savings plan, and that concludes this demo. At this point in time, we encourage you to go out to the website and experiment with a calculator for your own situation. Thank you for watching.